Hey, this is Joel with the Traveler Toolkit, and I want to let you in on a little secret. Did you know I test out a lot more products than you'll ever actually see on this channel? I mean, some products don't make the cut, some we talk about but need improvement, and I get really excited when brands send me products that are upgrades to previous products that I've tested, and we've been doing this long enough now that that's starting to happen. So today I'm going to tell you about 3 product upgrades for 2026 that I think are worth you checking out. And the first product comes from a very familiar brand and certainly will be familiar to those of you who are backpackers or campers. One that I'm really excited to get out there and try because of the increased capacity. It's the new Jetboil TrailCook 2-liter. Check this out. All right, let's take a look at Jetboil's new TrailCook 2-liter pot system. Everything you will need and you will get is inside this pot right here. So great for backpacking, really lightweight. It's what Jetboil is known for. Just pair this with a butane canister and you're good to go. On the outside, you can see it is covered in Jetboil's kind of signature banded neoprene for insulation and just to keep your hands from getting burnt as this pot heats up. You can also see down here at the bottom, we do have some improved wind resistance here. There's like a coil system inside there. And then this is where your flame would enter. And you do have this coiled air reduction or wind reduction system all the way around. Flipping it up to the top, I really like these handles. This is an improvement on a lot of the Jetboil stuff I've had before. So your lid is held in place and the whole system is held in place by these 2 handles that will also flip out. All you do is grab them and pull, and watch here. They will click into place and be firm. But then when you want to put it back in place, you just give it a squeeze and it'll come up and lock out and hold everything in tight. They've got these silicone pieces here in the middle, both for the pot holder and then here as these bands wrap around like that. So love to see the stainless steel look on the kind of the gunmetal gray of Jetboil. Great design, but also great functionality. Here's a look at it from the side. Just works really well and provides a good handle. You know, you're picking up a pot of boiling water. This is protected. It's got the silicone on the outside so it's not hot, but it's also firm and sturdy. This lid here has some venting on this side, both for airflow and for pouring. If you were going to do some straining, there you can see it a little better. Straining like you make pasta, boil the water, put it in there. You can pour the water out. And then here is just kind of a vent hole, but that is your lid handle there in the middle, all really lightweight. So let's set this aside. You can see inside the pot is our system, but I'll also just show you the inside of the pot if you want to look at it. There are some measurements. That's going to be really hard to see, but there are some measurements along this side. You've got, you know, liters, let's say 48 ounces, 32, 18 ounces, and then your max here is going to be 1.5 liters, and those are all along the side. A little hard to see in this lighting, but non-stick inside, just a really good looking pot, substantial. 2 liters is a good size. You can make a 2 or 3 person meal in this pot. So setting the pot aside, let's talk about this little pouch that includes your burner. So this is a nice pouch, got the Jetboil logo on there. It's kind of a microfiber of sorts, is what I'm gonna call it. And I'm a little hung up here. What in the world have I done? Let me get fixed here. There we go. Now we're unraveling. That's what I did. Just comes up here and you have 2 components inside the pouch. You have your burner, which let's look at the burner first. This is a thing of beauty. I think this is one thing that Jetboil does better than everybody else that makes a canister for a burner, for a butane canister. Look at how beautiful and complete this is. This burner, you've got your igniter right there. If I come down here and hit the igniter, not sure if you can see it on camera, but you get a little spark right there. And that is extremely efficient. That burning top will help you boil water in about 90 seconds. On the bottom, you have your connection for the butane canister. And on the side, as you just heard me playing with, this is your flame control nozzle. And it also, on the click down, That is for your igniter. And they have a little lightning bolt right there, so you know that. But really handsome looking. And this fits nicely onto the bottom of the pot. You can see that there, how nicely it fits. This ring holds it in place. Really firm and sturdy. I'll put this on a canister in just a minute, but before I do, I want to show you this, which is the included canister holder. Really lightweight, some kind of plastic, not really sure what, but these little hands or fingers clip into the canister like this. The third one locks it in. There you go. And now you have a canister that won't fall over. Shaking my camera there. This has little rubber feet on the bottom here, and it stays, no matter how you do it, it stays centered. All right, let's put these two together here. But before we do, I just want to remind you that you need to make sure this nozzle is at 12 o'clock here. That is off. If it's down here, that will leave gas open. That's the valve is open. So turn it off. Then just take these two pieces, put them together. It's just like screwing a light bulb in. There you go, nice and tight. Now we can take this outside and test it. Okay, so we've got our burner outside here. We're simply gonna click down to the bottom and turn it on. I'm leaving it on high. I'm gonna set my water on there. And now I'm gonna set my, my clock. Start our clock here, so we can keep track of how long it takes to boil that water. Just 30 seconds in, and I can already see bubbles starting to boil or to start on the bottom of the water. I've also brought out here my thermal gun, my heat gun, so we can get an idea of the temperature. Right now, we're sitting at 100 degrees, and it's climbing, so we got to get to 212 for all those of you that are counting to boil. And look at this, a minute in, we're already starting to see bubbles around the bottom. Our temperature has risen to 111 and climbing here. 120. It's moving really fast. Just over 90 seconds and we're already starting to see some boiling happen here. I forgot to say I've got 32 ounces of water in here. That will make a difference. So 2-liter capacity, I have 32 ounces. We're up to about 100 and almost 40 degrees in the water, but we can see we're already bursting bubbles and beginning to boil, and we're just now at almost 2 minutes. Yep, and it looks like we're boiling just a shade under 3 minutes. So on high, 32 ounces of water in this thing. Under 3 minutes you can get to boiling, and now we can prep a meal for several people with this. So that's pretty much everything we need to know about the TrailCook 2-liter from Jetboil. I think this is worth your while if you're a backpacker or someone who likes to cook really quickly at the campsite. This 2-liter size pot is really effective for cooking enough water, boiling things that you can get out there and eat quickly and get back to your adventures. So if you're looking for something to up your camp cooking game, check out the TrailCook 2-liter. I think you'll really like this. And before we move on to the next product, I just want to say thank you to our channel sponsor, eTrailer, for making this video and a lot of our camping trips possible. Everything from the hitch on my truck to the coupler that attaches it to all the gear on top of my mini camper, which I'm shooting a video with this week. You want to make sure and stick around, come back for that. None of that would be possible without eTrailer. They have great RVing, camping, and outdoor supplies. If you're not familiar with them, I'll leave a link in the description down below, but you can get everything from awnings, rooftop tents, water jugs, truck hitches, parts for your RV or camper. I've been using them for over a decade, long before they were a sponsor of my channel, when my family and I were traveling the country, repairing our RV, keeping ourselves safe while we were out there. It was eTrailer with us all along the way. They have great shipping and service, and they have some of the best prices you're going to find out there on the web for the parts and the camping supplies you need. So be sure and check out the link down below and support our channel sponsor, eTrailer. Now, another product that's just been updated by Flextail is their Tiny Pump series. We have a full video about all of their camping pumps. This is the Tiny Pump 2X, but they just updated it with this guy here, the Tiny Pump 3X. So here's the details and the up close look at this new pump and what they've updated. All right, taking a closer look at the Tiny Pump 3X, you will see just how small this little pump and light is. I brought a few things for comparison from the Flextail line. This is the Tiny Pump 2X, so you can see it is quite a bit smaller than the 2X version. And this is the Max Pump 3, which I'm gonna call the big brother of the Tiny Pump 2X. See how they kind of take their design cues from each other, but substantially smaller than both of those previous models from Flextail. Really love the design on this. You do have a small little hook, or should I say a loop on the top. This is for hanging on a hook. You will need a hook in order to hang that, and that is all you need. It recesses into the top here, and it's pretty easy to figure out. This is the suction side, and this is the blowing side. So all the air will come out here. There are two buttons on the side. I'll turn it over so you can see them correctly. P for pump, L for light, and right in between you do have your USB-C port there for charging. Wish there was a weather cover on this, but hasn't been an issue with my other Flextail pumps. So one click or two clicks, I believe, give us our light. There you go. And I'll turn this off in just a minute. Turn the lights off and show you this. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the light off for just a second, focus on the pump. But one press will not activate the pump. That is to keep it from coming on in your bag. So two pumps, and you get air coming out this side and air being sucked in from this side. There is one single setting, so it's two clicks on the P button for on, one click for off. Obviously the two clicks is the safety. And then you have all these nozzles that come with it. So they all just force into the top here with a little friction fit, and it's a little tight, which is what you want when you're working with something that's airtight. This is for like a pool floaty or something that has a small nozzle that might be filled with your mouth. This one here is kind of a, I'm going to call this the intermediate nozzle. This is for a lot of mattresses and things like that, little pieces of camping gear. Then you have a couple different ones here. The large one, this is probably the one I use the most. I think my camping mattresses take this larger one. More air coming out at once. And then this is just kind of a generic, it's a rubber tip here. It fits in, but it has the ability to flex and pull and, you know, fit over some weird things if you had any weird things. And then it also has this one here, which I'm honestly not even, oh, it's threaded, that's right. So this one fits in, and I don't know if you can see there are threads on the inside of this. So I'm not sure exactly what thread set that is, but if you have something that's threaded, I guess that could fit in. I'm not sure I have that with my other Flextail pumps. So this is the USB-C cord that comes with it, but you probably don't need it because you probably have a lot of those. So now let me go ahead and turn the lights down and show you that this is more than just a pump. It's actually a really good light as well. Let's take a look at the different lighting modes. Okay, I've got most of the lights off here in the studio so you can see what these light modes look like. And again, this is the L button. We're gonna double click here and it will start with a really nice orangish light here. This is the old warm glow of an incandescent light bulb. You can set these on a table like this if you want to. I don't think you get the best light out of them that way. They're really meant to be hung like this. You see what kind of light it throws. In a tent, this is perfect. You pump up your mattress, you throw this on top of your tent. Absolutely perfect for those evenings around the campsite when you just need a little light. If we tap again, we're going to go to a more blue light. This is more like 5,000, 5,500 on the Kelvin scale. Previous one, maybe 3,500. One more click, you're going to get a brighter blue light. This is a task light. This is for seeing things. I believe this is the brightest mode, but almost works like a little flashlight around camp. Again, and you're going to get, yeah, I think an even brighter mode. So with the blue light, you have three modes. high, medium, low, medium, and high in that order. The orange one, you only have one mode. Click it again, you're going to get a bi-color light. This is a mix of the orange and the blue, and then click it again and you are off. So again, low, to start out, you just scroll through them, kind of a low 3500 Kelvin orange, and then you start out with low blue light, medium blue light, high blue light, and then bi-color, 2 different lights together, and still very bright. But I'm really impressed with these lighting modes for something that is actually a pump primarily. This has a lot of great multi-use scenarios with those awesome lights inside. And even though this pump has a lot of different features, you're probably most interested in how it does as a pump, right? So we're gonna do a quick demo here. I've got my Xped, kind of like oversized single sleeping pad. This is the one I take with me for tent trips or car camping. And we're gonna start here with the inlet. Stick this little guy in here. Yeah, I have the right nozzle. Let it go and see how long it takes to fill up this mattress. So here we go, double click on the pump. We're just gonna let it fill. Ah, we're out. There we go. All right, there you have it. You probably already know how long that took because I had a clock on the screen, but I let it go a little longer than normal just because I wanted it to look full. But this is, yeah, nice and full for this mattress. And it only took a couple minutes. It took so little time that I was happy to just sit there and hold the pump while it filled. But you can see how something this small and this handy with multiple uses will fit nicely into your backpack or your camping gear list. I'm gonna grab a couple of these because I really like the multifunctionality, throw them in my gear list for this summer, and I'm never going to be disappointed that I have them. My only real complaint with the Tiny Pump 2X has nothing to do with its functionality or design or build. My complaint is that they no longer give you this handy little gear bag for all of the nozzles and the pump itself like they have done with previous versions. I mean, really, imagine that you're trying to carry a pump and all these little nozzles with you in a backpack without a tiny little bag with a drawstring on top. It just doesn't make sense to sell something like this without a bag that helps you carry everything and take it with you. So maybe that's not a big deal if you're only planning on using one nozzle, you know the nozzle you need, and you just attach it to the pump and leave it, which is possible in my scenario, but I would still rather have my little goodie bag. I can throw this into a backpack, always keep my pump with me, and all of the nozzles in case I need them while I'm out there. So Flextail, let's fix that. And finally, one of our most popular videos of last year was a comparison video about different types of camping lanterns. One of those lanterns was the BougeRV Telescopic Camping Lanterns with these 3 pedal lights that just kind of dangled out. And if you'll remember, we didn't have great things to say about this light. There was a lot that could be improved. And BougeRV has just released a new version that actually is quite improved. So here's all the details about what they changed and why I think this is a worthy upgrade. All right, let's unbox the telescopic camping light from BougeRV. I have the previous version of this, so I'm interested to see how this one is different here. Pulling this out here, try not to make a mess. We've got a couple things inside. All right, it looks like you do have the instruction manual, anything you might need to know about light modes, all of that stuff in a couple different languages. That's pretty standard. Then you have a USB-C charging cord, C to C, and a few stakes. Now I know that these are gonna come into play on the legs of the camping light. This is not something I used in the previous version, but if you wanna stake it down in a little higher winds, they do give you these small little stakes here. Getting to the light itself, this is a much better design than the previous version. It's got an all metal exterior here, some plastic on the top, but feels a lot more sturdy in the hand. Just like the other version, the legs come out the bottom, and oh, these legs are much thicker and stronger than the previous version. Have some rubber feet here on the bottom, and there are the holes through which you would place these stakes. So if you're staking it down, putting them right here through these holes, That's pretty handy now that I see it, but it also has a nice positive lock. You hear that click? Nice. This is an upgrade from the previous version. Pull out, click into place, pull out, click into place. That is nice. And of course, we'll check that out more when we're outside. For now, I'm gonna break all three of these down, put them back inside. You'll see just how easy they go in. Let's slide. Just a little thunk on the way in, not a click, but they still do lock inside there. And on the bottom, you will see 1/4 thread in case you wanted to just mount this light on a pole for some reason, or a tripod. And then you have this little hanger here, not a hook. It accepts a hook. It's a little heavy for that, I will say, but if you had a sturdy hook, you could hang it on there and it locks on the inside. So pretty robust leg system, ready to check that out when we get outside. On the top here, you have all your controls and a flashlight. Now, I know this is not really going to be that useful as a flashlight, but there is a light at the top of this. Obviously, your power button right here, and then you have your mode button here, which goes between a blue light, an RGB light, and more of an orangish light. And then you have your plus or minus. This gives you up to 3 levels of brightness and darkness. And I'll demo that really quick here. We're just gonna pull, it looks like. Oh yeah, the lights come out like this. I really like that. So you see, we've got these holes here and the lights are sliding down into, let me just show you this. See that? They're sliding down into that hole so that everything is just contained. There's nothing flopping around. I like that a lot. Pull it out. And once you get the lights out, they come out, they can turn. Oh yeah. Not infinite, but you can go all the way up or almost 360 degrees on the other side. And these lights that come up, there's 3 of them. They are much sturdier than the previous version. I will say the previous version would kind of wilt. These were floppy. This is much stronger. No wilting on these. I like that a lot. Really light. And if you were to pull it all the way out, let me just show you here, you'll see this telescoping rod just kind of comes out just like that, pulls out on itself. Pretty interesting. We'll test that when we get outside, but then when you're going in like that, pretty nice. You do have to make sure that the lights, looks like they have to be facing out to go back in correctly. But you just push and they seat themselves right inside. Oh, I turned on SOS mode. And I'll just quickly show you the 3 different modes here. So there's a power button up top. It looks like if you hit these 2, you're gonna get instant red. Yeah, instant red in all 3. Hit them again, turn it off. Power once will, oh yeah, hold the power button, will bring on 1 light. And then I believe you hit power again. Yeah, and you're gonna get 2 lights. Hit power again, you're gonna get your 3rd light. So you can control which lights come on. Then you can hit the mode button here, switch between the blue light, the orangish light, and the red light. So whichever one you want. And then on each level, let's go back to blue, you have 3 levels of brightness. There we go. So low, medium, high. And that's on all 3 lights, or you can tap. There we go. 1, 2, or 3. So that's available in all 3 modes. Hold power, turn them all off, slide them in. And one other cool thing I just noticed is that these vents right here will allow some light to come out if the legs are pulled. So let me just pull the legs here and show you what I mean. You could set this up on the ground without telescoping, and if you hold the power button, you get some nice vented light. So I'll go ahead and turn on all 3 of these. Nice vented light around. Pretty cool that you can just kind of set it up to be a ground light. It doesn't even have to come out of its shell. Of course, you could pull it out of its shell and do more with it, but look at how nice that looks in all 3 of the modes. And with the legs out, you can see through these vents. When the legs are in, obviously you can't. There's just a little tiny indicator there, but very neat feature, kind of a honeycomb effect. And here on the bottom, you have a weather-covered, that is nice, USB-C input for charging. Hold that up there, you'll see USB-C. And right above that, you have 4 little indicator lights for battery. So if I hold the power button, you will see how much battery life we have. So right now we have 3 out of 4 bars, so 75% max. That way you always know where you are. This is a pretty cool setup, pretty cool design, but let's take it outside and test it and see how well it does in the dark. All right, let's do some darkness testing. I am in my large warehouse with all the lights and security fixings off. I have a little flashlight with me, and behind me is the BougeRV lantern. Now, you are 25 feet from this back wall with this large garage door, and you are probably about 15 feet from the lantern itself, meaning the lantern is about 10 feet from the wall. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hold the power button here. And we've got lights, 1, 2, 3 lights, and we will start with these lights pointing down at the ground. And you can kind of see that this is about chest height on me. I'm 6 feet tall, so we're talking about 5 feet off the ground here. This is probably how I'm gonna use it at the campsite the most, just because it's not in my eyes. And it doesn't throw light out that far when you do this. I'm truly just pointing these at the ground. If we point them a little more angular, then you can get more light out. So I'm about 10 feet away from the light right now. I still feel like I can see what's happening. If we wanted maximum light, we would do this on all ends. And of course, you're going to be able to see a whole lot better, but that light is pointing in your eyes. So you can direct it the way that you want it, but I think personally that the down light is probably the best way to do it. Now, let me go ahead and change the brightness here. Let's see. I'm having a hard time seeing on top of this. Here we go. There's all the way down. Here we go. You see my hands. Middle, all the way up. And all the way up is a lot of light. You could task this out. You could cook something here from probably 10 feet away. This is going to throw a lot of light. So again, we are on the daylight setting, low, medium, high. Now let's switch modes and go to the orange light. This is a much more pleasing light when it gets really dark and you're trying to save your night vision or just hang out. And of course, you can always throw it all the way down like this. So it's just a ground light. Heck, you can even throw it inside. I'm kind of curious what this looks like on camera, but you can flip the lights out, throw it inside the case, and you have this cool little lantern. Now I missed one. Throw it inside the case here. All 3 are inside. No, they're not. That's hard to do. Okay, come on. One more time. There we go. So you have this lantern that if you set it on the ground is pretty cool. It's a great way to direct your footsteps, not ruin your night vision. Then you can pull it out when you need it. But I like these orange lights a lot. Flipping them back down here. And let's just go through the brightness. So we've got low, medium, high. Not as bright as the blue light, obviously. Low, medium, high. And again, you can direct them out in all directions. You can see a lot. I'm all the way up against the back wall, walking around. It's in my eyes, but much more visibility this way. All right, let's get these down. And let's go to the third mode. Boy, I will say the buttons are a little hard to see right here in this area. Switch here to red mode. This is red. And then let me see here. There is low, medium, high. Low, medium, high. Not a big difference on the red light. But when you come to the blue light, such a big difference. Low, medium, high. And there's so much visibility with this blue light. I mean, it throws light everywhere. It's so directional. I mean, look at me over here. If I point it back at me on this back wall, I'm gonna be 25 feet from you, but I'm gonna be a good 10 feet from the light, and I've got plenty of light on me. So there's a lot of things you can do and play with, but I think that for what it is and what it does, this is a super, super handy light in the darkness. I like this feature a lot. This was not something I was expecting, not something I was trying to get out of a light, but all the lights I like have this sort of functionality to them where they can become a lantern of very low understated light when you need them to. So I like this function of the light a whole lot, and I just turned it off. There we go. It's going to change the color, maybe on the orange the most. So there you have it. That is the BougeRV Camping Lantern Darkness Test. I think this is a major upgrade on their previous models. My favorite part, these locking legs. So much better than the old one, and better than a lot of their competitors as well. Legs are normally the pinch point, and I think these legs are a great design. They have that satisfying click, and they're very strong. So if you're looking for a versatile camping lantern that doesn't take up much space and has a lot of functionality and brightness, then this one from BougeRV definitely is going to fit the bill. Hey, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you're interested in any of the products that I've talked about, I'm gonna leave links in the description below. If you're new around here, consider subscribing. New videos about camping, RVing, and outdoor products every single week. As always, my name is Joel. This is the Traveler Toolkit, and I'll see you in the next video.